Take it
So, in 1943, here we go.
Wait a minute.
Joe and
You don't look that old.
Joe and Maria. You want me to stand or sit? What do you think?
Whatever you're comfortable with.
All right, I'm going to do one arm push-ups. No, 1943, Joe decided to marry Maria. Now, Maria loved Joe, but Maria's family did not like Joe. Joe was a drinker, and he was an abuser. And the unfortunality of that was Maria wasn't strong enough to leave, and they had 3 children, 3 daughters, Linda, Denise, and Bernadette. Linda was the youngest, Denise was the middle child, and Bernadette was the oldest. Linda started drinking at 7 and doing drugs at like 14. And the sisters followed. Inevitably, Joe and Maria did get divorced in 1971, and Joe moved with Bernadette to South Florida. Denise and Linda, they moved out when Denise was about 18, North Jersey, and that was that. Linda did eventually go to college, was really a wealth of knowledge, very intelligent person, became a nurse. However, struggled with promiscuity and alcohol and drugs. And the unfortunality of it was that in the family there ran a lineage of schizophrenia, bipolar, and manic disorder. So like, all the cards are stacked up against this line of blood right there. Linda had, I guess, a fascination with the islands and married a Trinidadian. Unfortunately, he decided he wanted more than one wife, and so she left him and tried to get married again. But you actually have to get divorced to get married the second time, so that didn't work out. But in 1991, after 3 miscarriages and an abortion, Linda had a 6-pound, 8-ounce, beautiful baby boy with blue eyes. And she really loved this baby. She wanted to keep this baby. Unfortunately, around October 1991, she had a manic schizophrenic episode and thought the mafia was chasing her. So she literally went to the police station and threw this baby. It's like, mafia's chasing me, help. So he said, oh boy. And the baby landed in foster care. Now this baby, luckily, was adopted into a really large, loving family, a woman that knew Linda, who was actually in her 50s when she adopted. And this baby boy ended up growing up in North Jersey, in Cedar Grove, in this big house that wasn't theirs. And they lived in the basement, this big mansion. Whereas now uncle, who was a wealthy, driven entrepreneur, came off the boat in Italy. And this baby boy, not having a father, not seeing that, wanted to aspire to be like him. And unfortunately, due to the fact that never truly feeling loved when you're given up on, resented his mother and wanted to be his uncle. Now, luckily for this baby boy, his mom read a lot of books. Unfortunately, you have to apply what you learn. So I label this story, poor mom, rich uncle, because this baby boy viewed his mother as working very hard and not that smart, and his uncle as working really hard and smart, and always want to aspire to be an entrepreneur. I stand before you today learning about 5 months ago this story at 26 years old. That's my story. Linda was my mother. Barbara adopted me, and we grew up in this house. I share you my personal story because right now you know more about me and who I am than anything you can look on Facebook or the internet or if I had a 3-piece suit on or whatever. Because leadership is the ability to share your story, get to know others' story, and inspire them to a new story of what's possible. And we label that as vision. So if you are in a position to help another and you're not sharing your story, learning their story, and working now to a new story, we have a problem. Because our life's a business. What it costs to live and what we get. And it's up to us to be able to solve enough problems, right? Because what's the definition of a business? The vision is the solution of a problem. And the profit is the margin in between what it costs to solve the problem, and what comes in.